So it doesn't seem like Disney can catch a break, not for 2024 and not for 2025, and rightfully so, because everything is 100% deliberate by Bob Iger, by the Disney executives, and all the studio heads. They're asking every bit of backlash that they are receiving, especially with the Snow White 2025 trailer, which by the way debuted at the official D23 event. We have a lot more to talk about that event, by the way, because it does cover all different divisions, such as Lucasfilm, Marvel, and just everything live action and animated related to the Disney company. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. So there's been a lot of backlash happening with Snow White 2025 after that official teaser trailer debuted on social media, and by the way, it is getting ratioed to no end. I mean, this is by far the worst marketing campaign performance when it comes to a Disney live-action movie, and when you're focusing on something like Snow White, we know that ever since 2022, when everything was wrapped for this movie, it really went into chaos based on Rachel Zegler's PR disaster and everything else related to the ongoing behind-the-scenes drama. Now, focusing on actress Gal Gadot, or Gal Gadot, however you want to pronounce it, we have a lot of things going on with this actress in particular going against the Disney executives in the wake of the ongoing marketing campaign for the Snow White 2025 film. Let's get into this, shall we? Now, we already know that this movie is going to be pretty much an abysmal failure for multiple reasons and factors out there. We've gone over this multiple times. Why? The biggest one of all has a lot to do with, well, the fact that we have someone like Rachel Zegler carrying the role of this movie, and how also the CGI dwarfs are really something quite offensive by Disney. They can't hire actual dwarfs. That really just goes to show you that there's a real issue with Bob Iger. However, with the multiple divisions of the Walt Disney Company already heading into various setbacks and challenges that Bob Iger and the Disney board are panicking over, one major development now has more to do with actress Gal Gadot in the midst of all the drama happening out behind the scenes with the Snow White 25 trailer. Now, just recently there were multiple intense arguments that also sparked behind closed doors between Gal, director Mark Webb, and Disney CEO Bob Iger, along with the many Disney studio heads that reportedly backstabbed Gal with making false promises about the format of the Snow White trailer at D23. It turns out that initially, Bob Iger and the Disney executives had agreed on a marketing strategy with actress Gal Gadot to throw her in her singing sessions as the evil queen in the first teaser trailer at the D23 event, the very trailer that is online right now. A last-minute change was made just 1 week ago where that song by Gal was completely erased, not just from the trailer, but also from the entire film's final cut itself, and already Gal is reportedly furious over Disney's last-minute alterations made to the Snow White film. Gal is already beginning to blame director Mark Webb for not sticking up for her properly behind the scenes after learning about her significant, of course, scene from the teaser trailer that was excluded. This all comes in the wake of the test screening disaster, where all test screeners agreed that Gal's performance and singing was quote-unquote atrocious and a deal-breaker for the film that would cause massive walkouts in the theater. In addition to this, she was also promised by the studio heads at Disney that she was going to make a special presentation for Snow White 25 on stage for the trailer. That was also called off at the D23 event in direct response to the terrible test screening results for the live-action Snow White film. Gal is already backing out of many interview opportunities for the Snow White movie and wants to water down her press tour for this project, since she had so many arguments with the Disney heads over the current status of the marketing campaign. This also comes in the wake of Disney's new marketing strategy to focus less on Gal, on both the teaser trailer and the official trailer that's already in the making than originally intended. Already there are now official plans for the second trailer to withdraw from major appearances of Gal as both the Evil Queen and as the Old Hag, aka the Witch, in the film as they begin to rethink their marketing campaign strategy. Now guys, before I move on, let me just say one thing about this. Now, this movie is in shambles. I mean, we all know it, they all know it, you know, the executives know exactly what's going on here, and if it were them, if they had to make a very wise decision, it would be to just cancel this movie outright and lock it up in a vault. You know, nothing more different than what happened with the Batgirl movie. You guys may recall that. That movie got locked up in a vault, never saw the light of day, never will see the light of day. And yes, I feel bad for Brendan Fraser, because he was supposed to have a massive role in that film. I believe it was as Firefly. But if Snow White pulled a Batgirl, they could have saved themselves a little bit of backlash. A little bit of backlash in 2025. But this is going to be on a massive scale. I mean, this thing is getting disliked / ratioed to an extent that we have never seen before when it comes to a live-action Disney remake based on an animated classic. So moving on from this is also something that is creating many outbursts from Gal behind the scenes against the Disney executives. The drama doesn't stop, however, with Gal, as they are also dealing with Rachel Zegler, who is overwhelmingly unhappy with Disney's new marketing strategy for the most recent trailer and everything going against it. Already, Bob Iger and the Disney board are preparing to hold an emergency meeting over the recent backlash related to the Snow White official trailer and how the D23 event didn't help them in the least. So that's another thing, is that almost every meeting that Bob Iger holds nowadays with the board ends up being an emergency meeting, whether it's on a specific division of the company or a specific brand or product or something to do with their theme parks. It's always an ongoing emergency meeting when it comes to Bob Iger and the board of directors. And that's not a good look. We already know that their stock is very erratic right now. It's going up and down, up and down. More on the average of going down, but what's interesting about their theme parks is that they actually also talked about how there are some challenges there as well. You know, but putting that aside, focusing on the issue here with Snow White, this is really going to be a terrible start for the first quarter of 2025. There's no question about it. When you look at basically Rachel Zegler's PR disaster back in 2022 and how that really kind of lingered for like a year and a half, nobody forgot about it, and nobody forgot about it today in 2024, and nobody's going to forget about it at all as well in 25 when the press tour begins again, and how you're going to be able to compare that, how you're going to actually have a contrast between 25 and 22 when it comes to the press tour of Snow White, the live-action remake. Now again, as we talked about this months ago, there were supposed to be 2 sequels to this Snow White movie. They were going to have a Snow White 2, a direct sequel, and a prequel movie focusing on the Evil Queen. Those 2 movies were actually canceled. They were axed as a result of the test screening failures over the current sitting Snow White 25 film. So again, I mean, this is something very interesting because first you had The Acolyte, now you have Snow White. I think these 2 movies, or these 2 projects I should say, The Acolyte being a show, these 2 projects are really the 2 biggest failures under the Walt Disney Company in recent years. So overall, guys, I would like to hear what you all have to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.